Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. And I have placed a ton of orders this week. You know, we've had tons of Chanel, DIOR, and so forth. The items I ordered from the DIOR website have arrived. Now, when the DIOR spring collection launched at Selfridges, several days ago, I did place an order for the blush stick and the highlight stick, as well as the lavender topaz shade of lip gloss. Those have not arrived yet, but these from the DIOR website have, and let's go ahead and get started. So I wanted to kind of show you what was in here, and then I figure we'll go ahead and play. So this is how it all comes packaged. This is just, I thought it was going to be the receipt, but it's actually an empty envelope. So yeah, I guess they forgot to include that in there. And then this is just taped here. I have to say, you know, the tissue paper actually says DIOR on it, and that is not usually what I get. Usually it's just plain white. So I thought that was interesting. We've got sets of samples. This is the new Forever foundation. Oh, you know, I already have foundation on, or I would have used this. We'll have to try this out tomorrow. But I have the one should be the Skin Glow versus the matte, but it looks like, yeah, here we go. So this one's the Skin Glow and the matte. We'll have to test those out. And those were the samples that I selected. And then this was the code I entered. It was Miss You 21, MISSYOU 21. And it gives me a little bag. It's supposed to have a little bottle of I think the Miss DIOR fragrance, but it's just the bag. To say it is a cute bag though, it has a snap closure, and this is canvas, so kind of cute. Oh, maybe this has the fragrance. Let's see. This is the other sample. It's just the lip maximizer in the 001. So I've got that, and the items I picked up the two new quints. So we have Popeline and Organza, as well as the new blush in Rose Dentelle. And then I also picked up some of the lip products. So the DIOR New Look Lip Balm in New Rose. I love this. And this was the first time I had tried one of their colored lip balms. I have the translucent one, but I really wanted to try some of the others. So I picked up a few of those. But not sure. I don't remember ordering this. I'll have to check my order. I don't recall ordering this, but this is the New Look lipstick in Icon. It's very pretty, but pretty sure I didn't order that. So I'll have to look that up. But I did order some more of the colored lip balms. So I've got a few of these here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now the colored lip balms come in the same packaging as the lipsticks, and they are refillable. This one here is shade 388 DIOR Essence, and I was really curious about this one. You can barely see it when it's clear here, but it just looks so pretty on the website. This one is pretty translucent though. I built it up here, but you really don't see it. There's a little bit of shimmer in it though. So I'm not sure if you can tell in the bullet, there is a touch of sparkle there. And let's see here. I also have the matte lip balm in 200, which is Terabella. So that's a sheer layer of it. And there it is built up. I was very curious about the matte lip balm. I'm very curious to see how these compare to the Hermes lip balms. So yeah, definitely wanted to see that. And then I picked up one of this is another satin balm in the DIOR Bloom shade, which is 586. This one is limited edition, and I got this specifically for this collection. So there's a sheer layer here. And look at that. So very excited to try that. I don't want to swatch this because I don't recall ordering that. And then I also picked up another lipstick from the spring collection. This one is 565 Cherry Topaz. So this shade is limited edition. This one is satin. And you can see it's kind of like a corally pink shade. So this one I'm actually going to set aside for when the items I order from Selfridges arrive, because this is part of that collection. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other items. Now, first, let's take a look at the Rouge Blush. So the blushes still come in the old packaging with the little case. This here is Rose Dentelle, $3.52. And online, it kind of looked like it might be matte, but you can see there is a touch of shimmer. It doesn't look metallic, but perhaps a satin finish. So let's put that right here. And let me layer that. So that's 2 layers here and 3 layers. So you can see that it does get a bit deeper. And we're gonna compare this to a few other blushes at the end of the video here. Let's also take a look at the eye quints. So we have 719 Organza. And again, these do not come with a velvet case or dust cover. And I have to say, this is way more stunning in person than it looks online. Online, I almost passed on these because they looked really like peachy and warm. This is peachy. I mean, it's like a peach quint, but it's a lot more neutral looking in person than it appears on the website. So let's go ahead and swatch this. So those are the first 3 shades. This one's here is the middle shade. These are the bottom 2. Yeah, it's just a really pretty kind of warm, neutral, peachy kind of quint. I feel like the colors in this would be a really nice spring, summer type, everyday kind of look. And let's take a look at Popeline, the pink one. And I have to say, I really love the way this looked online, but I was thinking of passing because I was like, well, I don't really like pink eyeshadow very much, but these did look cooler. And then it was kind of like, do I just like the way they look in the pan, or am I gonna like them on my eyes? But I ended up getting it. And just in case you are unfamiliar with the DIOR quints, they do always come with the dual-ended brush and a dual-ended foam tip applicator. So, as well as a plastic case. So here's 839 Popeline. It's really a beautiful, cool pink. So it's not completely cool, but you can see that overall it's probably more cool than warm. This one here is really the warmest shade in here. This sparkle topper though, it looks like it might have a little warmth as well, but these are the first 3 shades. So that's the sparkle topper. So you can see that it's very, very light. Right, and these are the bottom 2 shades. All right, so taking a look at all of these, you can see here that Rose Dentelle is kind of like a nude rose. There's a little bit of, it's kind of like rose with beige mixed into it. And I'd say it's pretty neutral. It's definitely not overly cool, not overly warm. But if you had to pick one way or the other, I'd say it actually leans a little bit warmer than cooler. Looking at Organza here, you can see that we start off with a satin shade. This is kind of like a warm, soft brown with a touch of peach in it. Then we have this sparkly gold shade, and it's a pretty, you know, it's not like overpoweringly bright, but the tones of this are going to be a brighter yellow gold. Following that, we have more, this one's a little bit more taupe-like than the first shade here. It also appears to have a satin finish. It's just a little bit more subtle, and it's going to be a softer shade. Another satin shade here, we have more of a mouse brown. So there's a little bit more gray in here. And you can see the sheen when I move my hand here. And then this last shade here is peach with a touch of like pumpkin orange in there. There's a little bit of, you can see a little bit of like a reddish hue in there as well. Moving on to Popeline, we have the pink topper here, which is very light. And it's actually a pretty neutral pink, but there is a little bit of warmth in some of the sparkles. It's more like a warmer tone pink sparkle in there. Again, we have more satin shades here. We have, these are both going to be cooler tone pinks. This one here you can see is going to be a little bit warmer, but it's still going to be a cool tone, kind of like a medium pink versus a very cool tone, soft petal pink. Then this shade here, actually, this is going to be more of like a peachy rose. You can see that it does go pretty nicely with the blush. It doesn't have as much of that nude tone in it, but they do kind of have a similarity there. And yeah, I'd say this is kind of like a peachy rose. So it's definitely going to be the warmest tone shade in the Popeline quint. And then we have a satin brown here. And this brown actually has like there's like a little touch of peach in there as well. But this is going to be a warmer tone brown, but it's still pretty neutral. It's not like one of those warmer, like yellow based browns. You can actually see here as you blend that out a little bit. So these are the items I've picked up. Let's go ahead and try them out. All right, so on my skin, I have the Kogan Dough foundation, the moisture foundation in 012. And I figure we'll go ahead and set that with a little bit of the DIOR Forever loose powder, the cushion powder. And I have the shade that came out last year, which is lavender. This year for the spring collection, they've released one. I think it's called Mineral Pink or Mineral, something like that. But anyway, it looks similar to the lavender in the photos, but I think it's going to be more of like a sparkly pink. But I figured texturally, you can kind of see the difference using this. So let's try this one on. I'll put this on the right side of my face so you can see kind of what the powder itself does in case you're interested in that shade. So it does come with a little puff. And you know what? Let's go ahead. We'll use the puff today and start off with that. So here it is. Can you see all the powder coming up? So I've got some powder here on the puff. And let's go ahead, just getting closer so you can kind of see what it does. So you can see the effect. It definitely mattifies a bit and gives a little bit of a blurring effect. I just feel like it doesn't look super smooth. So this is not one of my favorite powders. And just add a little bit more. So obviously, you know, you can see a difference between the two sides, but let me show you what it looks like with the brush as well, because actually my preferred method of application is with the brush. And this is the Master Face from Sonyeji. Okay, so you can see the difference. I just feel like with the puff, it makes my skin look a bit drier than the brush application does. So here it is on both sides. Let me know what you guys think. So let's start off with the Rose Dentelle blush. And I'm going to go in with the Sonia G. This is the classic cheek brush. And it is undyed goat hair. Let me just get that a little more evenly on there. Just knocking off any excess. So you can see a little bit of the sheen. It's definitely a lighter color here. And just add a little bit more. So it's not glittery, but it definitely has a little bit of a sheen to it. Almost, I mean, you can see a little bit of a metallic sheen to it. I wouldn't say it's overpowering or anything, and it's soft enough that it's something that I personally will still like, but it is something to note because I feel like online you can't really tell. So let me go. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the Chikuhodo Z11. We're gonna go here into the bottom left and just knocking off any excess. I'm gonna go ahead and put this softly in the crease. And then let's go ahead and, all right, so I'm gonna go in with the Sonia G Soft Shader into the bottom right, this peachy shade here. And just gonna tap a little bit of this on over here. I really like the sheen on this and the color actually. Like, I didn't think I'd like the color so much, but I kind of do. We're gonna add a little bit more of this just so we can really see it. Yeah, you know, I like that color. And then I'm just wiping off the brush. We're gonna go into, well, let's go into the middle shade here. Put that right next to it. And just kind of see how that does. That shade I can see being very, very useful. I like that. That's a nice, easy combination there. Now, on the other eye, let's just play with a few more shades here. So I think on the other eye, we'll go ahead and go in with, well, you know what? Let's go into this peachy shade for the crease this time. So taking the Chikuhodo Z11 still. And then I'm going to use a soft shader again, and let's try some of the other shades here. So let's go into the brown shade, and we'll put this here. You can really see that metallic sheen on the blush when the light hits a certain way. Let's add a little bit more of this also. I mean, this is a pretty neutral shade that I'm sure you have something similar in your collection, but it's just a really beautiful color. And then we're gonna go into this one here, first shade, adjacent to it. You can see that this one actually just looks like a slightly deeper version than the middle shade here. They look pretty similar on the eye. And let's try the gold. We're gonna go ahead and put the gold. Let's start in the center here and just see if this, how lightly this can go on. Kind of like that. And I'm going to take the soft shader and let's see how it does on the brush. Actually seems a little bit more pigmented on the brush. And let's go ahead and add this to the inner corner. You can see, you can get that much more pigmented. So I feel like although these eye looks are different, they're both pretty similar the way that I have them. But I think the colors overall are really nice for a warm neutral look for every day. And that peach actually brings it like some of that springiness to it. So I have to say I like it. And yeah, I'm going to add some brown eyeliner to each of these and mascara, and then I'll see you back in a second. You know what? I actually, before I go ahead and finish up with mascara and stuff, I want to add more gold to the left eye. So I'm going to get a little bit of this. I'm just going to kind of cover that brown shade that I had there. I just want to see what this looks like with more gold on the eye. And let me add just a little bit more of that brown to kind of come and meet it. All right, I'm gonna finish up, be right back. So for lips with this, I'm going in with 525 Cherie, and they do have this shade in the new look packaging as well. So this is a metallic shade, and you can see that it is fairly warm, like it's a warmer pink shade. Let me put that right here so you can see that. So this is Cherie. All right, I'm going to show you this from a distance, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and we'll try out Popeline. So this is the Organza quint from a distance. So between the two eyes, I think I personally like my right side better. And here's the rose Dentelle. You can definitely see that sheen. You don't really need a separate highlighter with this. It's really more of a highlighter blush. What I like about this one compared to some of the others that they've released recently, like was it the New World or something? I like how it's a sheen, but it's not glittery. All right, so let's move into the Popeline. I have the Chikuhodo Z11. I'm going to start off in the brown shade, and let's go ahead and put this in the crease. Good crease shade. You can see that satin sheen on there. Taking another Sonuji soft shader, and let's play with the warm and cool tone pinks. And I'm gonna go into the warmer one first. Okay, so you can see it's a very light, soft pink. I mean, honestly, you don't really see too much of it on my skin tone. Very, very light. Let's try the cooler tone pink, this second shade here. And yeah, you can definitely see this one more. You've got the shimmer in here is definitely more noticeable. The color itself is a little bit more vibrant on my skin, but it's very light as well. So really, this one's just more noticeable because you have a bit more of that sheen. But the shades themselves on the eye, they're both so light that it's not making that big of a difference. All right, I wiped off the brush. Let's go into this middle shade and just see what this looks like. We're gonna put this on this eye here for now. Just kind of see what that looks like. It's definitely the coolest tone of all of them, which we knew from the swatches. It has a little bit of a lavender hue to it. That's the kind of pink I like. So yeah, I think these three will actually mix well together, but I just don't think that they're going to be like a huge difference per se. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of the brown here to the outer half of this eye. Just add a little bit more here. And then let's just play with the topper as well. So with these toppers, I prefer to use my fingers. It's a nice topper. You can see you get some shimmer. It kind of helps meld all of the tones together. Let's put it on this one and just see what it does. All right, so here are these. Honestly, they're super light. I'm gonna just take these off and we're just gonna do one look on both eyes with this. And just, you know, let's try it wet. So the brown here is really the only one that truly seems to stand out. I'm going to go ahead and put this on dry as a base. This is a jumbo blender from the Sonia G Kiyaki set that I'm using. So this is just gonna kind of be my base. I wanna see how bright we can get the pinks. So we're gonna use those wet to kind of play around with that. So here's the brown. You can see it works nicely as a one and done shade. Let's try the pinks. All right, so I spritzed my brush with the Chantecaille rose water, and I just kind of pressed it on the towel just to kind of dry it off a little bit. So let's go into this shade here, this second shade first, and look on the brush. You can see like that metallic glint. So let's go ahead and put this on. That actually reminds me a lot more of the middle shade now. So let's go ahead and try the middle shade. So here's the middle one. You can see it's definitely like a bit lighter and milkier. Look at those two side by side though. Now let's try the other two side by side. So this time let's go into the peachy pink down here at the bottom. All right, and here you can definitely see the warmth. So it wasn't as evident when it was dry, but wet, you definitely see a little bit more of that metallic gleam there, and you can see the warmth in here. By contrast, let's try this second shade again right next to it. Just so you can see the difference. You can see how much cooler in tone that is. Well, I was gonna do just one eye look on both eyes so they match, but you know what? I think we're just gonna go with this. Let's go ahead and put some of the topper on both of these now, and all right, so there they are with the topper. I'm just gonna finish off the eyes real quickly, and then I'll see you in a second. All right, to finish off the eyes, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Smudger 2 from Sonia G into the middle shade. I'm gonna put this right in the inner corner. I think this lightness And the brightness of this like lavender hue is really great for brightening. And then I'm going to use a smudger too to go underneath the eye in the brown. And this is just going to be a soft look. And let's go ahead and we're going to use the brown on the upper lash line also. All right, I'm gonna add some mascara and then we'll do lips. All right, so for lips, I wanna go in with the DIOR Bloom. This is number 586. And again, this is a lip balm. I really like the lip balm formula. I have to say my translucent satin one is a bit firmer than these. These are creamier. And you can see that they can build up to a brighter color, and they have this like shine to them as well. They're very comfortable. All right, so this is Popeline from a distance, wet, and then this is the DIOR Bloom lipstick. So this is everything. Let's go ahead and do a few comparisons. All right, so let's start off with some comparisons for the Rose Dentelle. Again, this is one swatch and this is 3 layers. So 1 layer versus 3 layers of Rose Dentelle. And I wanted to start actually with the Pat McGrath Flirtatious. And this one here, let me just show you these side by side here. You can see that they do have a similar look in the pan. The Flirtatious looks like it's going to be a bit more nude. I'm going to go ahead and go vertical so we can kind of see everything. But you can see there that, yeah, I think they are fairly similar. Another one I wanted to compare is 361. This is the Mi Fiore, and I absolutely love this one. I wear it all the time. Unfortunately, it's limited edition and it is now gone, but this one's going to be a little bit pinker. Let me put this one right near the top swatch so you can see that a little bit better. It's a very soft pink blush. My darn veins. Here, we'll put it here. Maybe that'll be better. So yeah, it's going to be a bit rosier. It's not quite as nude. Now, a few others I wanted to compare. This is 353. So the new one here is 352. 353, this is the one that came out for holiday 2020. This one's sparkly. So I wanted to kind of show you though the color here. You can see it's going to be a lot more pigmented. We also have 468. This is from the Birds of a Feather, the fall collection that came out this year. And you can see that it's going to be more nude, more brown. This one's sparkly too. Few more. We have 601. This is from the Atelier of Dreams. And I forget, is this one might be hologram. And it is very sparkly. Tone-wise, you can kind of see like this one, because of all the sparkle, you know, it's kind of hard to see the actual blush color, but I think the actual blush color, the base of it, is fairly similar. It's just that this one has all of that sparkle in there, and it's like pink and blue sparkle. And then another DIOR one, this is 219 Rose Montagna. This is going to be a lot deeper, but I just wanted to show you, you know, because it's a pretty popular DIOR shade. So you can see the pigmentation level is going to be much more pigmented in the Rose Montagna. The last blush I wanted to compare is Chanel's Rose Ecrin, or Ecrin 68. And one of my favorite blushes of all time. Let's put this one, well, I guess we'll squeeze it right here in between those two. You can see Rose Ecrin is going to be rosier. So in the pan, Rosé Cran actually looks more nude, but when you actually swatch them, it's actually not. So you can see here, you definitely have those nude tones, but you actually have a lot more rose and a lot more pigment to it as well. All right, so for eyeshadows, let's start with 719 Organza. And those are going to be this set of swatches here. So we're going to start off with actually this one here, which is Cruise Look 022. So let's take a look at Cruise Look here. And here are the first 4 shades. I'm just going to do these really kind of small here because I just want to give you an idea of what the palette looks like in comparison, and I don't have a ton of space. So here's Cruise Look in comparison. So you can see that really the only shades that kind of go are these first 2. The one in Cruise Look is going to be a little bit warmer. The gold though, you can see it does have a similar tone, but the new one is going to be much more vibrant. Next, I want to compare 429 Toile de Joie, and we'll do the same thing with this one, just like little swatches next to it. This one is going to be a little bit more similar. Actually, let's put this one, and we'll just layer it underneath these. Let me just move to my other arm. So this is Organza. Now for Toile de Joie, let's put that right underneath. You can see it's much lighter. I wanted to make sure because that is so light when I was kind of layering it with the others. I think it was like hard to actually see the colors. So this one here is going to be most similar. So these are the 2 like orangey shades. And let's put that right there so you can kind of see how close they are. They're pretty close, but the rest of the shades really don't go. This one's closest to that, but this one's going to have a little bit more gray in it, and it's a softer pigmentation level. Next, this is DIOR Libre. We're just going to take a look at the peach shade here. And let me put that on the first arm, actually. And so here's that. And we're going to put that right here. You can see that this one has a little bit more orange in it, less red. Next, we have Golden Snow from DIOR. This was holiday a couple years ago. So we're going to take a look at the gold and this peach. So this one here is really more of champagne with a touch of peach. So here's the gold from Nightbird. You can see that it's going to be a little bit lighter. And then this like peachier shade here, it's not really going to quite go with these, but just to show you the tones. A couple more, we've got Organza and Jungle. So we're going to look at the top 2 shades here for Jungle. And let's switch back to this arm now. And I'll just put them up here. So the ones in Jungle, you can see that they don't quite match any of these. And then this one here is 569 Golden Day. So we're going to look at these top 2. Well, actually, let's look at the top 3. So here are the top 3. Let's put them, let's see if we can squeeze them in. So here's the first shade. Second shade is light, and sorry, it's much harder to swatch on this arm. So this is kind of that pinky rose shade. Let me put that with this one. So here's the pinky rose. Let's put it right there. You can see that those are fairly close. These other shades though don't quite really match up with any of them, but you know, they might be close enough. And then another palette it reminded me of, this is the Suku 104 quad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch this whole palette. And this one made me think of it, but most of these shades here are going to be more pigmented. So let's go ahead and put them here. So that one's kind of close. It's just going to be more pigmented. This last brown shade here isn't really going to go with any of them. So, all right, so those are my comparisons for Organza. Let's move on to Popeline. Now with Popeline, we don't have quite as many comparisons. So here's Popeline. That's going to be down here at the bottom. The first shade we're going to look at is the center shade here in 659 Early Bird. Now this one is going to be a light pink shade as well, but you can see it's going to be warmer. It's more of a pinky champagne. Next, I wanted to show you Blooming Bouquet. These shades don't really match up, but I wanted to show you what they look like in comparison. So we're just gonna look at these two like more pink shades. So this first one and the middle shade here. And these are gonna be closest to the middle shade in the Popeline. So you can see that they both have kind of more of that like lavender hue to it, but they're actually more of a really soft lavender than this like petally pink shade here. And this one here is Romantic Voyage. So we're going to take a look at the pink shade. So Romantic Voyage, there's the pink there. You can see that it's going to be warmer than any of the ones here. Well, this one's a little bit warmer, but for the lighter shades, this actually, yeah, it's really just going to be a lot lighter. And then the very first thing that Popeline reminded me of when I was putting it on is this Tom Ford Quad number 33 Rose Prisme. And we're going to go ahead and swatch this whole thing, but really it's just this like pinky purple shade that looks similar. So we got more of a champagne. There's a peachy shade. You can see it's not quite like anything in Organza. Here is that light shade, which actually looks more like the one in Romantic Voyage. And then we have a warmer brown. So I feel like on the eye though, that middle shade in Popeline does look fairly similar, a little bit brighter. There's more color there than in the Tom Ford Quad, but there's something there. And then this last one is Insolent Rose, number 30 from Tom Ford. So let's take a look at this one. And we're just going to go ahead and do the pink shades here. All right, so here are the two pinks. This is the sparkly one. And it doesn't quite go, but you can see that they still kind of have a similar vein, kind of similar to this one a little bit, but not quite. And then here's the matte. Definitely more rose. All right, so those are my comparisons for these two quints and for the blushes. And I will do more videos on these quints so you can see them in action a little bit more. But I wanted to, kind of give you guys a good idea of how they're going to perform and what the colors look like, because these quads or quints are limited edition. And typically these limited edition ones that DIOR puts out, like Blooming Bouquet and Pink Sakura that came out last year, they go very quickly and then they don't come back. So if you're interested in getting them, I would definitely pick them up sooner rather than later. We'll talk more about the lip balms and everything another time. Now, overall, my first impressions of these products are that I like them. I'm a little disappointed in Popeline because it's not as pigmented as I was expecting. Organza, I really love Organza, and I really love these lip products I picked up. So, the colors so far, I'll have to try them all. But those are kind of my first impressions right now. So I'd love to know what you think, and if you ordered any of these or if you're considering it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. If you have any additional comparison requests, please be sure to let me know and I will add those into a future video. Thanks so much and have a great day. Stay safe and healthy.